We learned in Chapter 1 about the importance of tailoring your writing to your audience, of taking the time to analyze your audience, figure out who your reader is, and then changing your writing appropriately. I want to go into more detail about 3 specific types of audience to help you write accordingly. The 3 types of audience are the lay audience, the manager audience, and the expert audience. Regardless of who you are actually writing to, whether it's a paper for school or a letter to an editor of a newspaper or a blog entry, your audience will fit into one of these 3 categories. Let's start with the lay audience. This audience has no knowledge of your topic. Because of that, you need to give a lot of background information to help your audience understand. Don't assume that your reader knows anything. If you're telling a story of a personal experience that happened to you, make sure you include all the background information, who's involved, why they're involved, so that your reader can understand. And because your reader isn't an expert on your topic, you have to explain everything in simple terms. You cannot use any jargon. Jargon is technical vocabulary that is specific to one field. So, for example, if you're a nursing student and you're writing a paper about how to administer IV fluids, you wouldn't be able to use any of the medical terminology when writing to the lay audience because your audience won't understand it. Some examples of the lay audience are children. When you're talking to kids, they don't usually understand everything the same way adults do, or a classmate or your friend who isn't in your major and therefore doesn't understand the specific information and language that goes along with that major. The second type of audience is the manager audience. This audience might or might not have knowledge of your topic, but you don't know that. Therefore, you still need to give background information, just like you did with the lay audience. However, while the lay audience needs the background information to understand, the manager audience needs the background information to make an informed decision. And they really like facts and statistics to help them make that decision. Some examples are when you're trying to sell something to someone or when you're writing persuasively. Think about when you go somewhere and there's a salesman. I'm going to use the example of renting a car because I worked at a rental car company. And when a customer would come up and let's say they had a compact car reserved, I would try to convince the customer to spend more money and take in a bigger car. So I would talk about how big the trunk is, how much more things they could haul, how much more leg room there is, that the car still gets good gas mileage. And I would throw all of that information out to my audience to help them make the informed decision that they should agree with me and spend more money to get the bigger car. Writing persuasively, you are also giving facts and statistics to help your audience make an informed decision, but this time, the informed decision that you want them to make is to agree with your claim. The last type of audience we're going to discuss is the expert audience. This audience is an expert and therefore knows everything about your topic. Because of that, you don't need to give any background information. You can jump right into your main point and assume that your reader understands everything. You can even use technical jargon. Some examples of this type of audience would be your boss and your teachers. If you're writing a report for your boss, you can assume that your boss has all the information. To go back to the nursing example, if you're writing on a patient chart, you can use the medical terminology, you can use medical abbreviations because the doctor and other nurses who are looking at that chart will understand it. Your teachers in your major classes are also expert audience members. If you are in a criminal justice class and you are writing a paper about a specific crime or a specific case or maybe the need for better programs or educational programs in juvenile facilities, you can assume that your teacher, who's a criminal justice expert, will have all the background information necessary. I do want to make one point, though, to keep in mind that I am not a teacher in your major. So if you are writing about something specific to your major, I will not be an expert. I don't know anything about criminal justice, business, nursing, medical assisting, paralegal. I know about English. So I'm not an expert audience. I would be more of a lay or manager audience. So to summarize, we talked about 3 specific types of audience. Lay audience, who doesn't know anything about your topic and needs a lot of background information to understand. The manager audience, and you're not sure how much information they know. They still need background information, but this time to make an informed decision. And the expert audience, who knows everything about your topic and does not need any background information at all. As this semester goes on and you begin writing papers, I will tell you for each paper what type of audience you have, and you will practice writing to 2 or maybe 3 of all different audience types. It's very important to tailor your writing to your audience.